Hey guys, Damian here. I've always been torn about what to say when someone asks me, what do you do? What do you do? Well, I'm a musician, but at the same time I build businesses. And my business successes kind of outweigh my music career. But I'm very proud of being a musician. And every day I deal with two sides of people. I deal with musicians, but I also deal with entrepreneurs and business types. So it got me thinking, what can the business world learn from musicians? What is it that musicians can do so much better than the business world, other than pack a car better than anyone else because they're so good at Tetris? Other than that, what is it? So here are my top 10 tips for what the business world can learn from us musicians. Tip 10, creativity. And there's nobody more creative than the creative musician. If you want someone to think outside of the box, why not ask a musician? And when it comes to business, especially building brands and more importantly, social media, creativity is so important. Because yes, you need engagement and yes, you need consistency. But if you want something to go viral, the more creative it is, the better. The more it will get shared and the more people will see it and share it. So if you want some creativity in your business, you need to go and find a musician and ask them what they'll do, because they'll want to do everything different all of the time and experiment. Creativity is our blood, it's our lifeline. So creativity is very important to your business, and if you need it, go and ask a musician. Tip 9, belief. Musicians believe in their bands. In fact, they believe in their bands so much it becomes almost blind ignorance. They believe that their band and their music is better than everybody else's. And that is an amazing thing because it allows you to deal with brushing off rejection. It allows you to deal with the knocks that are constantly coming in a very, very tough industry. And in business, you need belief. You need to believe that you can achieve. You need to believe every single day. That's why you wake up. And when I look at musicians, that is something that I see in abundance. They believe in their music. They believe in their mates, in their bands. And belief is huge. Musicians are the guardians of hope. Tip 8, budgets. And everyone's heard of that stereotypical skint musician. But musicians are able to do what they want to do and achieve what they want to achieve with literally no money. Musicians are creative and therefore will find a way around a solution with little, if not any money at all. And that is such an amazing skill. Rather than throw money at something, they'll find a way around it. So not only is that problem solving, but it's amazing budgeting skills. Tip 7, integrity. Musicians are all about credibility, and we want to get to the top the right way, and we scoff at anyone that's jumped to the top via some TV show like X Factor. We didn't get in this for the money. In fact, you show me a musician that has actually got into the music industry for money and I'll unpack the straitjacket, because that is not a thing that happens in the music industry. This is about doing things the right way and getting people to believe in us for what we do. Integrity is absolutely core to every musician. Tip 6, the cool factor. Now, every single business I've ever been involved in hasn't exactly been cool, but it has been 5 to 10% cooler than its competition. And that has been a winning formula. Now, musicians understand that, and they understand that music industry is a fashion-based industry. In fact, I would go further than that. And I would say we are now in a fashion-based world, and fashion is very, very important to everything because of the technology that we have, because of the way we consume content. Fashion is very, very important. So when you're thinking about setting up a business, just being a little bit cooler than the competition, a bit more rock and roll, a bit more edgy, it really helps in today's society. Tip 5, specialism. Musicians are specialists, which means musicians know about detail because they've had to sit learning their instrument for hours and hours a day, weeks and weeks at a time, months and years of learning their instrument and honing their craft. And that has taught them about detail. It's taught them about the tiniest little inflection in vibrato or the tiniest detail in their snare drum pattern and how that will affect the entire band. So when it comes to detail, musicians understand this. In the business world, you get lots of people who are big picture, who can stand back and see the direction of where it's going. But those people need detail. They need people with an eye for that detail. Musicians have amazing attention to detail because they're specialists. Tip 4, being non-committal. Now in my business life, I've had my fair share of failures, and some of which I wish I'd jumped ship on earlier because I lost a lot of time, effort and money in doing so. However, my ego got in the way and therefore I carried it on until it was literally hammered into the ground that it wasn't going to work. Now I watch musicians a lot jumping around from band to band to band looking for another opportunity, and what that means is they're looking for the big win. That's the main goal. They've got their eyes on the big win, and if there's a band or an artist that they think is going to take them the next step further, they will happily jump ship and jump onto the next band. Whilst it feels like it's a lack of commitment, sometimes in the business world that could be a good thing. Rather than sticking at something for years and years and years and wasting all of that time and energy and money only for it to fail, when there are so many opportunities around in the business world, and what you are learning on a day-to-day business whilst building this business means if you fail at one thing, it doesn't mean you're going to fail at the next thing. And I think that is a crossover point which could really help business owners. Tip 3, payoffs. Musicians are all about the payoffs. And for us musicians, the biggest payoff is standing on stage and performing, because we've put in the hard work, we've written the songs, we've recorded the songs, we've put in the promo, and then we get to stand on stage and say, "Love me." And that is a huge payoff for us musicians. And in the business world, I think there needs to be more of that. And I'm not talking financially, and I'm not talking about huge, big payoffs. What I'm talking about is setting targets, hitting targets and having a small reward, because I see too many business owners head down driving again and again as if nothing else matters into a void that's never ever going to be achieved. And a better way of doing this is to look at what musicians do, which is work, get a small reward, work, get a small reward, because it will keep you going, keep that momentum going year on year and help you to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Tip 2, emotion. And nobody can trigger an emotion faster than a musician. By picking up their instrument and playing and instantly being able to trigger an emotion, whether that's making you laugh or whether it's making you cry or even making you angry, being able to trigger that emotion is so important when building a business, because it builds brands, and brands are built around emotion and storytelling. And musicians are fantastic at triggering emotion and telling those stories. That is something that you need to learn from every musician. And tip 1, passion. If I could go back to the beginning and start again, would I do anything different? No, absolutely not. There are decisions I would make differently along the way, but I would want to start at being a musician, because I have learned so much from being a musician and I genuinely love what I do. I feel like I can see both sides. I can see the creative side of being a musician, but I also understand the business side to it. And I feel like I am a better business person because of my upbringing and my background as a musician. If I could bring just 10% of the passion that I have for creating music into the business world, I know I will always have successful businesses. Life is short and you only get one shot at this, so enjoy what you do. Thanks guys, that's my top 10 tips on how the business world can learn from musicians. I would love it if you would subscribe to the YouTube, give this some comments, any other things that I've not thought of or stuff that you think would be important for business owners to learn from that us musicians also bring to the party. Otherwise, take it easy and I'll see you guys tomorrow.